Hello, scumbags.
Hey,
We're here. It's me, James, and
Brock.
we're here with the
Rebel What's happening? Rebel Scum podcast.
That was flawless. A
Thank
flawless
you.
intro for our 15th show.
It sounded funny in my headphones.
It's funny because we've been doing this for over 2 months, over 3 months. We've been doing this since August, September, October. This is our fourth month.
Yeah, it's November. It's Nov.
We need lives.
We need wives. Oh wait, you have one.
I have one. Except for guess what? So it's Tuesday was the U.S. election, and Monday was the day that Rogue One tickets did not go on sale.
Oh, I was gonna ask you about that, but I got busy.
Did you not buy Rogue One?
I bought tickets to The Arrival. Super excited about that.
Did you see it?
No, it's not out yet.
I'm excited. Yeah, actually.
It's this weekend.
Oh, okay. That looks like a really good movie.
Yeah, it is.
I know they didn't go up. Nobody knows when they're going up. I assume it will be any week now. Probably like next week.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will get an announcement because Batman and Superman, I think, was 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
6 weeks out. So we're around that.
This will get something.
And I think they're just going to treat this like an average blockbuster, like not how The Force Awakens, or even I think Episode 8 is going to get a bigger release. But
yeah,
The Force Awakens was a re-entrance into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
like for a whole new generation and the old generation to go back to the older generation.
Sweet.
So the first image from the first teaser we ever saw from The Force Awakens was a desert planet with an Imperial Star. No, not with just a desert planet, and then Finn pops up, who we did not know was Finn until 2 days later. That was his name. Mm-hmm. But so the first thing we were introduced to in this new Star Wars was this desert planet. People were like, "Is it Tatooine? Is it who knows?" It ended up being Jakku.
Yes.
Which basically was Tatooine for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Same type of planet. But the thing is now when you read Aftermath before that came out, and then when you watch the movie, Rey is from Jakku. Mm-hmm. Lor Santeca lives on Jakku. Mm-hmm. We don't know much about him, if anything, yet. I don't know if you've heard anything about him from the comics or not, the Poe Dameron comics.
Not really. He's still looking for him.
So he's somebody important though. There's something about him, and Rey wants to go back for her family to meet her on Jakku, mm-hmm. and then the new Aftermath book, Life Debt, features prominently on Jakku, and what we're learning now is the Emperor said that 1,000 years ago, something big happened on Jakku, and something big is going to happen again.
Right. So 1,000 years prior to the actual Battle of Jakku?
Yes, and this is why I don't think the Old Republic is being touched by Lucasfilm right now. Because we need to know what happened on Jakku before they can announce that. And that's why Netflix...
Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, but what... The
Netflix series?
Yeah, the petition.
Oh, the petition, yeah.
That's why I think that ultimately...
just waving your hand.
Writing. I think that ultimately has to go nowhere because they can't do anything with that time period until they tell us what happened 1,000 years ago with Jakku.
Yeah.
So this leads me to something I was thinking about recently.
Cool.
With did the Emperor... Well, it has to do with who is Rey, who is Snoke, and did the Emperor know either of them? And when I say know either of them, I mean personally did the Emperor know Snoke?
Yeah.
But the Emperor would not have known Rey because Rey would not have been born.
Yes, correct.
But, so what I'll go back to is there is that rumor about the Force Tree and Luke telling Rey that the Jedi Order was deceived. Mm-hmm. That there was a boy and a girl, that thousands of years ago, the first Jedi, there was a tree, a Force Tree, and there was a boy and a girl, and the boy killed the girl.
Right.
Then went home, killed his parents, and that's how the dark side was born, basically.
Right.
And then the girl ends up dying. She doesn't end up dying. She comes back to life. But then she says that she will return in the form of a man or a woman.
Right.
And so,
interesting.
Yeah. So is
this canon?
No. This is a rumor that Luke will tell Rey in Episode 8. This could be totally.
So people listening, Force Trees is canon.
Force Trees is canon
from Shattered Empires, the comic series.
And this kind of takes. To me, this is a cool blurb if it's real, like what he says here, because it takes a new spin on Anakin, and And one of the theories about Rey is that she's a Force baby of some sort. I don't think she'll be a Force baby because I think they're going to stay away from that. I don't know what she's going to be yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is, what if the Emperor knew about this prophecy, and he knew because the Emperor would have been around with Mace Windu, who knew the prophecy, Qui-Gon, who knew it, Yoda, all these people who knew of the prophecy, and if they were deceived by this prophecy, maybe he knew they were being deceived, and it wasn't this boy. And there's another theory that he maybe is he maybe impregnated Shmi with Anakin.
Shiv?
Shiv. Yeah, we talked about it that one episode. So I'm going on along here.
Right.
But okay, so this is where I really want to get down to with you.
Yeah.
So you have now they're bringing up this Church of the Force, which you're a big fan of. But there's the Church of the Force. Okay, let's say they go with it.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's say the Emperor is a part of this Church of the Force, but like you said weeks ago, there are different denominations of the Church of the Force.
Yeah.
So you have Lord Santeca, who is on this side.
Yeah.
Like a Catholic, and then you have. No, I won't go there. I'll just say Christianity.
Yeah.
Because what I was going to equate with all of this is, what if this is more like Christianity and Islam?
Right.
Where maybe Anakin is not the chosen one. Maybe he's just like a prophet of some sort.
Yeah.
And then Rey can be your chosen one. Could be your Muhammad type deal. I thought that could be an interesting way to go.
It's funny because I was looking up something today for a video we're going to do. I was trying to remember because I feel like there is a mention of that there will always be balance. There always needs to be balance in the Force. So there always has to be good and evil. I was trying to find who said that. So I'm still searching for that. But I fell on the Wikipedia page on the Force. And they mentioned something called the 1,000 Years of Darkness. And that's where something happened in the Jedi Order. And that's how the Sith came. So the Sith are actually Jedis that went bad. So that's not canon anymore, probably. So that I just bring that up. I was like, oh, isn't that funny? I was thinking about that today. I'm okay with the Force Tree stuff. I like the Shattered Empire thing because it was really cool. It was like what happened after the events of Return of the Jedi. Plus, we meet Shara Bay, who is Poe Dameron's mother, which is pretty cool. If they were to do the Force Tree, which I really doubt because it's way too hard to explain, the way you mentioned that, I'm like, oh, maybe the girl that was killed she wasn't killed, or she was killed, but then like kept in like stasis in the Force or something like that. And Rey is that like reanimated girl. I'm like, oh, that's kind of crazy.
That's a good point.
That's a little too cosmic, I think, for Star Wars. But like, ooh.
But anything could be off the table when they bring up a Force baby. And Rian Johnson said that he was surprised at what he was allowed to do. So who knows?
Yeah. I don't know, Force baby. I think they did that and nobody liked it.
No, I don't think they're going to do a Force baby. But I think she could be the next chosen one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, you threw a lot at me, so I'm trying to remember.
I hope. There was a lot going through my head because I also think that. Okay, so let's go with that Rey is the chosen one.
Yeah.
Anakin was like the one who preceded the chosen one.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I can agree with that, but I kind of like. This is the movie where they can start changing things, right?
Yeah.
Force Awakens. I'm not saying Force Awakens is a copy of another movie. I mean, there's obvious similarities between the original saga and this one. I mean, they blow up a Death Star that's a planet, like, but it's still like by itself is a good. If you knew nothing about Star Wars, like, oh, this is a pretty cool movie. I think this one they're gonna go off. So I feel like anything with the chosen one, I think they need to stray away from especially because you and I talk constantly about like who Snoke is and. Is there Sith still, or like, is this a new Sith? Are they're clearly part of the dark side of the bad part of the Force, the dark side of the Force, but they're not calling themselves Sith, and they're not following the rule of 2. They're not following the rules in general. So I feel like you could focus a whole movie on who actually Snoke, or what Snoke's plan. Who cares who Snoke is? He's just a guy.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think he's just gonna. I think he's gonna be bigger than just a guy, but he's gonna be a guy we don't know.
Which makes me going back to my original thought of there has to be balance in the Force. So there always has to be bad and there always has to be good. Which I think works because if you're Luke Skywalker, who like gave up everything on Tatooine to follow some like hunch that he's doing something, and he's worked his butt off to like save his friends and try to save his father and try to like vanquish evil, and then to have it all just come back, it would like, then it would make it seem like when we meet Luke again in episode 8, he'd be like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's just never going to end. Because, so that, that doesn't really make sense. I guess I was trying to say, like, I don't think it's Sith, because he'd be like, well, God, I just got rid of the Sith. Like, what happened? So I think, like, there has to be some kind of evil. So that's why Snoke's, like, seeing an opportunity. Snoke is open to the Force, and he's seeing, oh, here's the opportunity, and he needs to strike down Luke because, well, you're my way.
I read something very interesting today on Snoke, today or yesterday, about why he chose Kylo Ren. He chose Kylo Ren because, obviously, who his parents were and who his uncle is, but because he was so in tune with the light side and the dark side of the Force.
Interesting.
I thought that was very interesting because Snoke, I think Snoke is someone bigger than we think. And I don't think he's not like the Emperor, where the Emperor is all evil, blah, blah, blah. And he's not Yoda, who's all good. He's somewhere who, like, he knows how to, he's evil. He's clearly evil. Yeah. But he has a broader vision of the whole galaxy and how to manipulate the Force and people, I think.
So I guess to answer your initial question, do you think she's the new chosen one? I think they're going to go away from that because now, technically, there's no Jedi and technically there's no Sith, right? Like, if you watched Return of the Jedi 30 years ago, how old is Return of the Jedi? Is it 40 now?
33.
33? You'd be like, okay, the next movie is, Luke rebuilding the Jedi Order. Which, in the expanded universe that is now not canon, that's what he did.
Well, he also does it, we believe now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. So, and then but we come in late, and now there's nothing. It's just Luke.
How weird is it, though, that we come in late, like this late. 19 years, they're saying? No, 30, this is 30 years. This is 30 years.
Yeah.
So Sith to New Hope is 19. 30 years later, he trained Kylo Ren, who was like 7.
Yeah.
And he killed even the older ones. Like
exactly.
That's a lot to.
I like the idea, though. When you think about it, it's like if we were to equate a Jedi versus Sith, regardless of what they end up actually being, they're small little groups, like the Knights of Ren versus Luke in the new Academy. So it's like Luke lost. Yeah. I like that idea that they're both starting from scratch. What else was I gonna say? Oh crap. But yeah, God, I don't think there needs to be a chosen one. I feel like unless you go into the whole, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a new thing. Which then also kind of puts the whole Church of the Force, which I'm not against. I just think then it just becomes an allegory for religion, I guess. I mean, it is, but
I don't see if they do this Church of the Force. I don't know if it's going to be like a church, or if it's going to be
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more like Maz is a member of the Church of the Force, where she's like, I know the Force, and I think it's gonna maybe they stick with
right.
But maybe there's also teachings,
because it's just like if there was a cult or Church of the Force or blah 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 blah. Like even though Luke vanquished Vader and Palpatine, it's not like, and then he started his own school. There's no way he could the news of the Force could spread out. Because even when you get to Finn and Rey, they're like, oh, is it true? It's like, yes, it's all true.
Yeah, it's back to myth. Like
it's
it
still
was
a myth.
Yeah, which.
So that's why I can't buy the Force. Though though, like I love, like I said before, I love the Maz Kanata character. I love the Bindu on Rebels, and Lars Santeca might be something as well. Like I like the idea that there's a whole, like, that's the thing about the Force that's very, very cool. Like I think they could start moving in a direction where there is no black and white. I think that is the complete misconception that Lucasfilm has somewhat, or not maybe Lucasfilm, just anyone, like Dave Filoni for that matter. I mean, there's that one episode in Clone Wars where they end up on a planet and like the light side and the dark side are people.
Yeah.
I love that episode, and that's what makes me like think more about like maybe Sith and Jedi are just, here's a message of like, this is the Force, and then it's like a group telephone where by the time you get to established group, the information is all jumbled, which again is a religious thing. Like you could say like, oh, you should believe this and this. Oh, that means we should do that. It's like, no, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, so, which could be exactly it. So much
it's
thinking.
Getting so philosophical.
Well, that's Star Wars. For
I love it. I love it, James. It's so good. It's crazy. We're gonna get a new Star Wars movie in less than a month.
Yeah, I got another thing for Ray for you.
Okay. Sorry.
But this has nothing to do with Rogue One. Rogue One's going back to Ray.
A Star Wars story.
Our friend Sean wrote this on the Facebook page about how she
Sean Cron?
How she could be a clone of Luke's hand from Bespin. And I'm gonna explain this to you why it makes sense. It doesn't. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think it's way too as convoluted as the other one would be.
I can guess where you're going, and it kind of makes sense. But go ahead.
Well, the other thing that happens on Life Debt is we find out that the Emperor was doing really weird crap, like dark side crap, having experiments done on the outer rims of the galaxies.
Right.
And one of them was Jakku. And so there's the theory going around that he was on Bespin when it all went down. I don't know why he would be there though. But maybe he was there to see if Vader would turn on him, which the comics kind of are going in the direction. They're telling you a story. Even Lords of the Sith, the book, they're going in these directions where the Emperor and Vader do not trust each other at all.
Yeah.
So, which you never really get in the movies too much, except for when he's like turn on the Emperor.
Yeah, but it works with the rule of two when you think about it.
Totally works. So if the Emperor's on Bespin, the Emperor finds out, the Emperor gets Luke's hand and clones it. I don't know why he doesn't keep the lightsaber or whatever. So his plan is to create a grand clone army of the Empire. Mm-hmm. First of all, no, because he shut down the clone army. Can
I do a side Akbar before you continue? And I don't want to ruin your thing.
It's already ruined.
Expanded universe, he clones himself a bunch of times. Yes. I thought Thrawn was actually original clone of. I can't remember, and I did reread the thing. But then there also is a Skywalker, like in the expanded universe. There's a clone because there's a picture of.
What's his name?
Cade Skywalker? No, that's prior. Before.
There's a rumor that Nuke Skywalker's in episode.
It was like Luke, but with two U's. That's what. Anyways, right. Go on.
Yeah, well, there's a rumor now that Nuke Skywalker is in episode. It's on
like IMDb. Duke Nukem.
It's on IMDb. Has Nuke Skywalker.
Shut up.
Yeah, you might have taken it down, but it was up there. There's a whole YouTube video on there by Dash Star. Anyway, so he grabs it, he clones him to create this grand army, but he goes to Jakku to clone it, and then I guess raise the clone of his hand.
Interesting.
I don't buy that.
Is that why she's able to do a Force vision?
Yeah, I guess. Because she's Luke?
Because that would make sense to me a little bit. Like, yeah, okay.
But here's my issue with everything right now. You have... Okay, so if she is a clone, why mention that Jakku was huge 1,000 years ago and it's going to be huge again?
Yeah.
Like, the other thing, once you say that too, and you have Rey, who is obviously Snoke wants her and knows who she is, and Kylo has heard of her, that J.J. Abrams confirmed that, and Luke knows who she is because in the novelization it says he knows who she is.
Yeah.
How come nobody went to Jakku to get her? Like, if Jakku is such this prominent planet, that's going to be such a big deal, and everyone knows it's a thing, why would Lor Santeca go there with the map to Skywalker? Like, why would Rey be left there? Why would nobody go look for any of this on Jakku? Why is it so isolated from everything?
Yeah, I mean, Larson Tekka lives on Jakku.
Yeah.
And so does Rey. Although it could very easily be like an Obi-Wan, Luke Skywalker.
Which I kind of mentioned in a little video on YouTube, the Rey's lineage one, but because maybe he took it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's to Jakku. Like, if you're going to take her somewhere...
And why not make her live in the village or live near the village?
Yeah, well, the Harry Potter thing where Unkar Plutt's like the uncle. And you throw her there,
right,
so
that's
she's
true,
far away.
Right.
But if Jakku is such a big deal, why would you take her, of all people, to the Jakku? Big deal. Yeah. Unless she was not left on Jakku and she's misremembering.
Yeah.
And even that to me feels like we're being cheated as an audience.
Why does someone always have to go to a desert planet? Like Leia got to go to Alderaan.
That's true.
The Republic is in charge. As long as you don't send her to the Hosnian system, she's good. So like the Republic, the New Republic, or it's called New Republic now, right?
Yeah.
Just put her somewhere there.
Well, I think maybe it has something to do with how Jakku is this big thing. Maybe she was grown in Jakku.
Yeah.
Maybe
she's like 7 when the spaceship takes off in her dream or the Force vision.
Yeah, and you don't know how long ago that was or anything.
Or I assume she's 7. Like.
Yeah, that's what I always thought, like 7, 8.
Yeah.
There. In my video, I say she's like 12. I was just like, but this is like Jakku is not making sense to me right now because something happened there, which I think we're going to learn a lot about. I think they're going to go Knights of the Old Republic, and then we're going to learn a lot, and it's going to take something big is going to happen on Jakku with the Sith, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I got to give it up to Disney for creating Jakku because, like, think of it's just a desert planet, and you could have just called it Tatooine for whatever, but like. All the things they've done prior to the movie and currently, and then, as you say, maybe off in the future. Like Jakku. There's the title of the podcast. Like it's in Battlefront. Sorry, I'm playing Battlefront, and remember the 3D thing they had? You could walk around Jakku before the movie, and like as you said, it's in the books and. Spoiler for the book review, it's in Poe Dameron.
Really?
It's not. They're not there, but it's a flashback to it. It's actually this is actually perfect that you brought this up. But like I gotta say, like for a planet they made up for the new movie, it's like wow, they're really owning it. Like you can't. This is Jakku. You're gonna do. They have a plan for it. If it's good, I don't know, but like.
And that's why I think so much the Old Republic, so much is riding on Jakku, and we need to find the information, which again is what I say about these authors whose hands are tied when they're writing these books because they're not allowed to say anything, and it's because you know what was genius about A New Hope?
What?
It wasn't called A New Hope. No,
it was just called Star Wars.
What was genius about it was. There were no twists. There were no turns.
Yeah.
It was what it was. And then when you went into Empire Strikes Back, you weren't going in like, I hope we find out who Luke's father is because we knew who Luke's father was. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they took you and they're like, guess what? It's Vader. Yeah. And you're just like, what? And now you don't get that because everybody's expecting the twist. And then and they did this to themselves too, where they're like, we're not going to tell you who Rey's parents are. Screw you.
Yeah.
So now we're like, who's Rey's parents? We're not going to tell you anything about Snoke.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't need. I see that thing. Your Snoke theory sucks. There was one of Ahsoka. What's her name? Ashley Eckstein holding that note too. Said your Snoke theory sucks.
Oh yeah.
See the Emperor. We never were like, I wonder who the Emperor really is.
Yeah. No.
We found out that he was somebody else later on.
Yeah.
But now people are like, who's Snoke? But the Emperor wasn't anybody special. Why does Snoke have to be somebody special?
Yeah,
he had 30 years. He's old, but he had 30 years after the Emperor died to show up.
Yeah. Like, I like the idea that he's watched the Empire rise and fall and what have you. Like, that's cool. I mean, that's not a far-fetched idea. I think people are like, he's humanoid looking, so he's like human, like Luke and Han. Chewbacca is a Wookiee. And he can live for like 800 or 500 years. Like Yoda has been around for 900.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's gone now, but like, sorry, spoilers. But you know what I mean? So he saw a lot of stuff happen too. Like, yeah. What was your question? I got lost.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, cool.
I kind of like the idea of maybe Snoke is not totally in tune with the Force or the dark side. Like, he can't manifest it properly. Like, he's not strong enough, but he understands it better than anybody else, and he can teach you. But he can teach, like, he can teach Kylo, but he'll only teach Kylo enough so that Kylo really is never a threat to him. And Kylo always wants to learn more.
Yeah.
And learn more. And he's like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
You're not ready. You're not ready. But Kylo's totally ready, but he's like, you're not ready. You're not ready.
Yeah, it's cool. I was like, I was thinking about it this week. I find it interesting, like, the relationship between, like, General Hux and Kylo Ren and then Snoke. Where it's like, it's such a... I guess it's basically comparable to the Emperor and Vader and whatever.
But not Tarkin. I think Tarkin and Vader kind of respected each other.
They respected each other, but then, like, in the beginning of New Hope, where there's the whole round table of admirals, they're like, Vader, blah, blah, blah. And then, reading the Vader comic, one of those guys comes back, which is kudos to those guys. I love it. So it's not really a new idea when you think about it. It's like, oh, there's a... I mean, it was either they feared Vader or they didn't trust him. Yeah. Or they're like, this guy... But, like, with Hux and Kylo, it's a different... It just feels different. And it doesn't even feel like Snoke is in charge of the First Order. You know what I mean? It does. He must be, but you know what I mean?
We assume he is. And on Wikipedia, it also says that he was, like, an army guy or something. So it makes sense that he would do it. And in Bloodline, you learn that you get a hint of where the First Order is starting. Yeah. You don't find out who starts it, obviously, but you see that it's from the New Republic. Like, people know. Like, people were in the know that this is coming, and they were hiding it. And then when the secret of Vader being Leia's father shows up, they take it. And they're like, okay, we're ready. So, Snoke is probably the leader, but he's a weird leader. Yeah. I remember when everyone thought he was going to be Thrawn.
Oh, I just love the two. Like, just the beauty of, like, the first time you introduced to Snoke, he's this gigantic figure. Yeah. And it's a typical Star Wars psycho where it's like, this is just a hologram. Like, oh, boom. Like,
and everyone, it's funny on the Snoke is Maz Kanata video. There's so many comments. Snoke is 9 feet tall. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's a hologram.
Well, yeah, cheers.
And Force Phantoms.
Yeah, exactly. No, people comment like, Force Phantoms, watch the video.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, this is how. But Star Wars is fun. It's fun to just spitball, and then when we watch it, we're like, "Oh, we were way off." Everyone's an Ewok.
That'd be awesome.
It would be, but they're never coming back. I think Life Debt made that.
We should write a spec script on a new Ewok film.
Yeah, sure.
What would it be called? The Ewokening.
Oh, I like it.
Okay, when we run out of things to do for this podcast, we'll start writing a script.
We're going to announce when the trivia contest is going to be on YouTube soon. But I have 2 questions that I need to show you after the podcast. So everyone listening, you can't.
Ha! Suck it.
One of them has to do with Ewoks.
You should come to my house on these things instead of listening on the podcast. No, you should continue listening on the podcast.
On SoundCloud.
Okay,
let's move on to the news.
The news.
Live from Coruscant.
Hello, news. Let me open my thing. This is the sound of me on my tablet. Boop, 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 boop. I know I can remember most of the stories in my head. One of the big things this week was there's new Rogue One posters from different countries. And the one that stood out the most was the Mexican one because it looks like they're flying over the ruins, and it's Yavin. It looks like Yavin 4. Yavin 4? Yavin 5? Yavin 4. But it's the Mexican one looks like it's supposed to be the ruins that you see, like the Aztec ruins, but it's really like, and I'm like, very nice, very nice.
Disney, they got this down.
Was it in here? Oh, maybe that's just one I put in myself.
Yeah, it is not on my list.
Sorry.
I want to see these posters now.
Posters. There was a new trailer TV spot. Oh, there it is. Here, I'll just put it up to the mic. Can you hear it?
Ooh. I love that shot with the ships in the AT act. The act.
Are you with me?
All the way. You're the rebellion. So it's nothing new. It's just awesome. I mean,
well, there's a couple new shots in there.
It when I watched it again, I was like, oh man, it's like I'm really interested on what the Jyn Erso character is going to be. I mean, I think we can guess, but you know, she's sort of reluctant in scenes, and now this one, you see this speech where she's like, all like let's do this, blah blah blah.
Which gets me worried that they might be showing the end of the movie.
Maybe, I don't know.
I kind of feel that's midway point. I'm thinking midway.
But it's pretty sweet. It's a TV spot. I haven't yet to see it on TV because I don't really watch TV that much. I stream, yo. I'm a pretty big deal.
Keeping up with Rogue One.
Yes, Rogue One. So, one of the effects artists that worked on Force Awakens, where's his name? Neil Scanlon, has been talking about Rogue One and saying that to go with the story we had last week about Gareth Edwards, it's like he says it's a totally different movie. It's very dark, and Edwards has really stamped his personality all over this movie. So it's pretty exciting. There's a lot of people saying like this is something. So you know the fans will be the final say on this, but you gotta believe these guys because, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, this movie's great. This movie's great," but like, this is Star Wars. You don't lie about Star Wars. And a cool video that was released this week, though I feel like I've seen it before. They showed some old behind-the-scenes footage or like cuts from The New Hope, where you can actually hear Peter Mayhew talking. And it's interesting watching it because there are times with Chewbacca, it's just like he makes noise, but his lips don't move.
Yeah.
But like Han is conversing with him, so I mean it works because like they kind of growl and kind of like murmur, so it works. But there is parts where it's cool. So that got released, and it just sort of maybe I can play it here. Hold on a sec. There he is.
Boy, where'd you dig up
That's awesome. But like it works with it because it's like you're right, Chewie. Like you're like, oh, that's what he said. I feel like I've seen that before, where you can actually hear Peter Mayhew talking.
It might have, but it resurfaced this week.
And then on that article as well, it showed a clip of Darth Vader. Who played Darth Vader? Who was in like
Prowse?
Yeah, David Prowse. You can actually hear his voice in there, which is very different from. Oh my God. James Earl Jones. James Rosili. Yeah. James Earl Jones. Totally different. And like in the little video, it's sort of saying, "Oh, we had no idea what was gonna happen." It's like, is this what he's gonna sound like? Because David Prowse is Scottish, so it's like not. Yeah, no. And it's a hollow. He's talking inside of a plastic helmet.
He was so mad when they changed his voice.
Oh yeah, but here we go. You know, like whatevs. You're still. Everyone knows that he's in there. So another fun Star Wars tidbit got dropped by Eddie Redmayne of Theory of Everything and soon to be Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which I am very excited for.
Me too.
Because he's an upcoming upcoming actor, and you know he's had a huge couple of years. He's one of those group of people that probably auditions for everything, and he was talking on a podcast, and he believes he auditioned at one point for Kylo, or at least some Star Wars role, because apparently he would lose out to
Adam Driver.
No, not Adam Driver. Who plays Hux?
Domhnall Gleeson.
Domhnall Gleeson. Sorry.
But he thinks he was in for Kylo though.
Yeah. He thinks that, but like the way he talks about it is like, well, every time Dom Hale shows up, I'm gonna lose to him, and like because it's Star Wars, they have to not have a script because they're like, well, everyone would just tell you everything about Star Wars. Which is interesting, because, like, in the Han Solo editions, like, there was, like, 7 of them.
Yeah.
And, goddamn, what is his name?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden.
He's in a new... Was he in the new Warren Beatty movie? He's in a new movie, and his name's like the third name in there.
Yeah. So, but like, he tried out 7 times before he got it, or like, well, it was a series, but like, I'm sure there's a contract. It's like, do not talk about this, but yeah, it's kind of neat. And then George Lucas has been consulted about the Han Solo movie and the script, and he says, A-okay.
But he said A-okay to some stuff that is crazy.
Yeah, like Star Wars Christmas. And
no, I mean in the Han Solo movie, they say that they're gonna break like a lot of rules and not do.
Oh yes,
Star
that's
Wars.
true. Yes,
and he was like, "Go for it." It's I sold it to Disney for $4 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's cool that they respected him enough to go to him and talk to him about.
Yeah,
it,
exactly. Like, so there's gonna be a lot of different things in Han Solo. So look out. But whatever. I have no.
I think as long as it's a fun.
Right.
I think I'm really hoping for like a Space Raiders of the Lost Ark type.
Space
Raiders, but just like a fun adventure film. Mm-hmm. Like there's no consequences. Like nobody's like somebody could die. I don't care. But no one's in peril that I care about. Like Han, Lando. Lando was his pretentious name. Lando, Chewie. Like I don't care. They're not gonna die.
Exactly.
I'm fine with this. I just want to watch them have a good time for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
It's like a prequel. It's just like, well, we know what's gonna happen, so we can do whatever we want in the interim as long as it's cleared up.
Do you find it funny that Disney, their first 2 spinoffs are prequels?
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing after the effect or during, right?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're like, prequels. We're gonna
go back.
We're gonna go back, but we're gonna go back the way you want us to go back.
True.
Maybe that's it.
Also, in local news, by that being in Canada, you can go to Swiss Chalet and get a collector's cup, which is for children.
I'll be going.
So there's 4 cups for Rogue One. Rogue One. The commercial was really cool because it's a kid and it's like a family sitting at a table, and then it's like the end of a commercial for something else, I believe, because I only pay attention to the last like 5 seconds of it. And it's a family, and the son is wearing a stormtrooper, and the father is dressed as K2SO, which is sweet because it's like it looks like made for that commercial. So it's like I think it's all cloth and such. And I'm like, that's a dope commercial. Or a dope costume, rather.
I gotta look at this.
So, yeah.
I'll be getting 4 of those.
Swiss Chalet gets their own chips, and now Star Wars. Like, somebody is really changing the something.
Everyone likes the gravy.
Good for Swiss Chalet. And then also, I read something today that's not on my list. Apparently, Steven Spielberg advised...
I saw that on the way here.
Did you see that?
On the way here. I haven't read it yet, though.
It's nothing huge. He just said... to JJ. You know JJ, don't you? JJ Abrams?
Oh, I call him Jaja.
Jaja Abrams.
Exactly.
Steven Spielberg was the one who said, hey, you should use JJ for this movie.
Yeah.
So, he's kind of like the godfather. And he said, or I think it's in the DVDs at some point, that there was 2 things that happened in the movie that are because of his suggestions. Nothing huge, just mostly effects. When the TIE fighter that crashed, when Finn and Poe crash on Jakku, the TIE fighter, and then the TIE fighter gets swallowed by the sand and explodes, that was Spielberg. He's like, maybe it explodes. Which is like so simple, but like, yeah, that's cool. Like usually stuff that's just like, but it's still like it was on fire. Why wouldn't it just blow up?
I'll bet you he was watching it as a filmmaker, just enjoying it as a filmmaker, watching it. And it sunk, and the scene played out, and he's like, and he was just like, oh, like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And he's at one beat, because I know sometimes I watch things, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're missing the punch.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's always just a small little thing, and Spielberg would have the mind to do that.
And then also, when the big lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo on Space Killer Base Death Star 2.7, apparently where they chop down trees or the trees are falling in the crevices. That's Spielberg as well. That wasn't there, and then he's like, you should have trees just like slowly being like sunk and da 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 da. And J.J. Abrams said, "Can we do that?" to the effects guy, and he's like, "Yeah, it's just gonna cost you." So it's cool. I mean,
it's incredible how easy those things are for like the professionals, not for.
Maybe it should explode.
What if it exploded?
I think that should be.
I made E.T.
Maybe it should explode. That should be a T-shirt we make.
Oh, I'm wearing it.
All right, that's the Hollow news.
And
other news for our actual thing.
Yeah.
We will be shooting the trivia thing on November the 19th. And I probably, if not that day, the day after, we'll have it up. So the 20th or 21st. Is there a date? Oh, 21st, Monday. Boo, boo, boo.
At 7
We're taking the weekend, you guys.
At 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m.
Well, we're going to need a day to edit it with graphics and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal, you guys.
Very big deal.
We're going to wear
Watch
suits.
Okay. I'll wear a shirt. No topless on this one.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's going to be cool on the Monday, the 21st at 7 p.m. on the YouTube on our YouTube channel. Big trivia contest that I'm hoping the questions are hard and I'm hoping the answers are wrong.
How quickly do you think Andrew's going to win?
Well, I think we should rig it.
Should we compare it to the 2016 American elections where it's just a landslide? Like maybe in the middle they'll be like, maybe they'll win it. No, and then it's Andrew Fantasia. 4 years of Andrew Fantasia.
Or maybe it will be like the 2016 election where we're like, Andrew's gonna win. Andrew's gonna win. Oh, what happened? What happened? Rob is now the Star Wars trivia.
Rob won't win, and now we have Rob for 4 years. Interesting. Anyway, so that's our news. Exciting stuff. Check out our YouTube channel. We are making things up all the time. It's awesome because we're so against theories, yet we're constantly making videos of theories.
I'm going to say what I say to you all the time. They're not theories. They're speculations. They're ideas to start a conversation.
Interesting.
Well, we just did it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
That's what. So for everybody that wants to know, the YouTube videos, essentially, the ones that we do, not so much Andres Garcia's from Fatty Fan Theories, but the ones that you and I do, they grow out of the conversations we have on this podcast. And they're just like, so we talk about Emperor, did he know Rey? So we might put up a video down the road where did Emperor know Rey? And it'll be 2.5 minutes and we'll flesh it out a little bit. It'll all be made up for the most part. But it'll be, this is how this could work out. Yep. Go watch it. And that's what it is.
We're just creating content, you guys. We're making as much as we can.
We're making more than we can. We gotta slow down.
I don't know how you have time for this. I'm at work and you're like,
well,
this many views,
I
this many plays.
I wake up early in the morning. I told you, I wake up early
in the morning. Wake up in the morning, gotta shake the feeling.
But we got stuff coming out on the YouTube. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
So let's go to Never Tell Me the Odds.
Never tell me the odds, even if the odds are even. That was a kiss. Because you never tell me the odds of when I'm going to kiss you.
What's the first odd?
That's not to you, James. That's just to women in general.
Do women listen to the show? Yes, they do.
Yes. I feel like it's definitely on Facebook. It's like, who are all these ladies?
That's true.
Okay. James, what are the odds of Jyn Erso appearing in an episode of Rebels?
I'm going to take a breath and go full Brock. 50%. Full Brock on this one because I think it would be a great way for her to show up.
Yeah.
I think it would be a great way to introduce her into the Star Wars world aside from Rogue One.
Yep.
But I also don't think that they'll do it. So it's so I'm very 50-50 on this one. I'm very conflicted. And if you do you get what's her name, Felicity Jones to do the voice?
Not. They can get someone to voice, and like. She's in she's in movies now. She's always been in movies, but she's in Inferno with Tom Hanks. She's expensive now.
Yeah, but I think that once you do a Star Wars movie, they're like, we own you, and if we want you, we're going to get you.
That would be smart, but who knows? For me, I was thinking about this. I want to go 60 on this.
Ooh, well, I'm surprised.
Because it would... I feel like it would make no sense, but like they got to do something where they link it back to Rebels and Rogue One, that they are occurring roughly at the same time.
Well, but is it going to be her that's the, where's Mon Mothma in Rebels?
Good call.
Next week's Never Tell Me the Odds.
Never tell me the odds. Interesting. Yeah, and then they could put Akbar in it as well.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people you could, but Jyn Erso is the star of your new movie.
Exactly.
And also, we still don't know when in time this season of Rebels is. Is it 4 years before Rogue One?
Yeah.
Is it a minute before Rogue One? Is it after Rogue One? It's not after, but we don't know exactly where it is. So that's determined on that. What's the next odd?
What are the odds of a Rogue One cold open? Now, this is because there will not be a typical Star Wars crawl at the beginning of the movie. What are the odds? So cold open meaning that we see something and it kind of has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It just sort of sets the scene and here we are.
I'm going to go 90%, and I'm going to say that cold open is the scene. And you'll find it on my top 5 what I think the scene is going to be. The scene of where the shuttle comes in and Galen's there, and then you find out that Galen owes Krennic a favor. And something's going to happen with Jin's mom's going to die at that point, and then it's going to say, Rogue One, boom.
So you think that's the opening?
Yeah.
What we saw on that weird damp planet.
I think somewhere around that's going to be the opening. It'll say Rogue One, and then the movie will start with Jyn in prison.
Then I guess I have to be 90 as well, because that's exactly how I thought too. I'm like, it's probably that.
Yeah, because you're going to start back in time.
Yeah.
Title. And then I don't think she'll be in prison. Maybe she'll do like an Aladdin thing where they arrest her and then she ends up in prison.
Yeah.
Like in the Aladdin cartoon when he buys bread.
Yes. That's Street Rat.
What's the next odd?
What are the odds of a different end credit theme for Rogue One? I'm going to go 0. You got to put in the typical Star Wars song, which is usually how it ends. Like, I'm
going 100%.
Wow, really?
Because do you know how it normally starts? Ooh.
With the lion. Roar.
If you're not going to start it the same, don't end it the same. That's how I'm going with it.
I guess.
I'm probably wrong.
You know what? It's yes.
Did you see the post of Michael Giacchino on Instagram? I think he's scoring Rogue One. He goes, "Look how cool this is!" And he had, those Disney Store character sets that they have. They're like, a few inches tall.
Yeah.
He has one from the original Star Wars.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and it's there. He goes, "This is usually in my office, but I felt like this was more appropriate today." And it's there, and I'm like, it's so sweet. You could tell it's super old because there's no sculpting on it. Yeah. It's just like thin. So you're 0 on that. I'm 100 on that. We're gonna find out. It's probably gonna be a combination. We're both gonna be.
I think it's gonna be the old way.
I just think if you're gonna start it different, why would you end it the same?
I don't know.
Is it gonna iris out?
Yeah, it's gonna do those sweet wipes.
Yeah, that'll be an odd for another day because that's a conversation on its own.
All right, that has been the odds.
Let's go to books.
We're going to books. Do you have a book?
No.
Thank God, because I have a book.
Yeah.
Poe Dameron, issue 8 just came out today, because today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is comic book day. And it was good, because after the last one where, Poe meets his old friend from the Navy, and it's like, oh, she's going to leak all this stuff, but then she joins the Resistance. That doesn't continue, but Poe is now aware that someone in Black Squadron is leaking information to the First Order, and that is how Agent Terex is finding him constantly. So he's now, oh crap, my team, what do I do? He's got to figure it out. Meanwhile, we meet up with Agent Terex, and this is the Jakku part I was talking about earlier, who's his ship. Last time we saw him, Poe was able to disarm his ship as they're escaping from that prison planet. So he's just been out in space, floating around. So he got a little irate because he's been yelling at his crew and ignoring Captain Phasma. So a lot of the issue revolves around who he is. turns out he was at the Battle of Jakku as a stormtrooper. And when it became, and it opens on Jakku where you see this Star Destroyer slam into the desert and explode. And that's where 3 stormtroopers are like, okay, it's all over. What do we do now? And the commander at the time gets shot by one of the stormtroopers. And the one's like, hey, wait, we have to get new orders. Like, there is no orders. That was it. Like, the thing just explodes. So the reluctant stormtrooper is Terex. And they spend, through the book, it goes back and forth. Him and this other stormtrooper stay on Jakku and build a ship out of pieces of things, of ships that have fallen. So it's the head of an AT-AT as, like, the cabin, and then TIE fighter foils. So it's a weird looking thing. I can't bring it up. But it's kind of cool because you see Jakku, and I think, don't they say that nobody survived it? Or, like, most of the stormtroopers were killed off. Anyways, Terex survives Jakku. So now it's kind of cool they've dived into his character. But the really cool thing about this issue was he's all mad, and they're like, we gotta go back to the First Order. And he's like, shut up. And he shoots things. He, like, pulls a gun on somebody. He goes to his quarters, opens this panel, and then we see this. He's got this stormtrooper armor that looks like samurai. Like, that looks like the bomber guys, you know, the big black thing, or it almost looks like a Vader thing, but it looks like a samurai.
Can you post it on the Facebook page?
For sure. And it's really cool. It almost looks like Boba Fett. Like, there's a logo there. It's like he's taken all these armor, different types of armor, and sort of put them together. But quite notably, what's interesting in this picture is in the top left corner, Death Trooper. On the bottom, Shore Trooper.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that's very, very cool, because I don't know for sure. This is probably the first time we've seen something from Rogue One in a non-Rogue One
Which is going to have to happen so that they can be like, no, it was around. Look,
it's always around.
Yeah. It's just not where we are.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. And then it also turns out that the other big thing in this issue was apparently C-3PO has a network of droids that are his spies. I don't know where they revealed this. It was not in Poe Dameron. Maybe it was in the C-3PO one. But he's got a network of droids. He's like, they're spies. He's like, they're not spies. They're droids. You just ignore them. They're like slaves. Which is kind of cool. I'm like, and that made me think, like, whoever's leaking information to the First Order is probably a droid. Yeah. But besides that, so we see a cool back and forth between Poe and C-3PO. And it turns out one of his droids on some planet was sending them a signal that he found out where Snoke is.
Oh.
So now the end of the thing is like, we have to go find Snoke. But then the problem was, here's that ship I was talking about that they built on Jakku. So it looks like Poe is off to find out what happened to that droid, and if the information is true, if they could find Snoke. And he takes, who was the pilot you were talking about last, the X-Wing pilot? Eloetzi? I don't think I think it's the same guy because he's like a tech. They call him Audi in this, so maybe, but like, he's like a repairman in this.
Oh yeah, that's him.
So he goes, because he's just a tech and not part of Black Squadron, him and Poe are now, they've gone together to find out. So now we're going to see a little Eloetzi or whatever. So yeah, really good issue. Poe Dameron, and this is the cover for the next issue, which is really cool.
Oh, that is.
Phil Noto's art is dynamite. Like, his interiors are great. Like, it's just very stylized but simplistic, but his covers are just beautiful because it looks like he paints them. So that was that issue. Fantastic. Like, Poe Dameron just delivers just fun adventure, which, like I said before, I think that's what Han Solo is going to be like. Plus, it's a total example of like, well, we can tell them, we can't go into a lot of detail because we're but it's cool that they're like, hey, look at this, there's a shore trooper. I'm like, oh.
But they can go on these adventures that are fun to
yeah,
read,
exactly,
which is what Star Wars is anyway. It's an adventure.
So yeah, that was books
and comics with no books.
Yes.
Well, I guess comics are a book technically. So
yeah, a book.
Well, that brings us to the number one listened to portion of the
Number 1
podcast. It is our weekly top 5.
Top 5 standing by.
What's today's top 5?
This one is going to be an interesting one. Top 5 ways Rogue One could start.
Because as you said earlier, it's reported that I don't think it's confirmed, but it's heavily that it will not have an opening crawl. So, how is it going to start then?
I think my number 5 on this was what we just said. Like, it's going to be them. The opening is going to be Krennic and Galen talking on that planet. I put that as number 5 because I feel like that's the most obvious.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my number 5.
My number 5 is definitely not going to be the opening. It's going to be the end of the movie. The dish being inserted into the Death Star or a portion of the Death Star being built in. I think that's how it's going to end more than anything. But it could be cool if the first shot of the movie is a dish being put into the Death Star.
And then it fades into a dish of cereal with blue milk in it. Yeah?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Number 4 for me
4
would be, again, an easy answer. Some kind of space battle or some kind of ship flying, because that's how all the other movies start. And I know it's supposed to be different, but like it could just be some cruiser, something like that to start off. To what capacity, I have no idea. Maybe it's a ship, and then maybe it's like some kind of like cargo ship that's going, and then all of a sudden you see the Death Star, and then the dish goes in. So I'm stealing your idea.
Nice. I'm not gonna talk about yours because my number 3 is similar. I'll expand on it there. My number 4 is this is fanboying. Vader and the Emperor. I don't know doing what. Yeah. Just together, boom, like it's almost complete.
Yeah.
Something like that, and then it's like, but the rebels, that's part of my plan.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it'd be cool if you started right, Vader and the Emperor right away, first shot, everyone in the theaters just jaw dropped. What are we in for now?
I think you're right, because like, how many people are going to go into this movie thing and it's like, oh, this is a new one. This is number 8. They're like, no, this is something else.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
It'd be cool for fanboys. I'll go number 3 first because it's similar to your number 4.
Yeah.
Imperial shuttle flying through space and landing on the planet that Galen Erso's on. Basically, the opening to the shot. Now, so the shuttle with Krennic coming down, going in, which is what we said. But I think why I don't believe this will happen, and what I wanted to say to you when you were saying yours, is because if you're going to start in space like that, even with the Death Star, with the dish going in the Death Star, if you're going to start in space, why not start with the opening crawl? I have a feeling they're not starting on space.
Yeah.
In space. On space.
That's why it's number 4, James.
Exactly. What's your number 3? Number 3.
Number 3, I want it to do something with Cassian. Cassian Andor. I feel like until they get Jyn, I feel like he is sort of the go-to guy. And that's why, or he's the veteran in the Rebel Alliance, that he's sort of, they're hatching this, they know that the Empire is doing something and they're sending him to figure it out. And maybe he's like, no, there's nothing here. Like they've gone to some place to find it. Or he found information about Jyn Erso, which will lead them to go find her.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I think he's vital. I think Diego Luna's a great actor, so I'm like excited about his character.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a huge role. I don't know if we'll see him before Jyn though. That's my own.
Okay.
That's it. Number 2.
Number 2. Something to do with 2K or K2SO. Like he's just like, because there's so many of these characters in for Rogue One, for this group, that are wearing Imperial clothing. It's like how, so maybe we're seeing the Empire, and then we're seeing also like, so something like that. Maybe not 2KSO, but like using him as an example of, oh, we're getting information through this.
Oh, that's cool.
And maybe they're caught and they're executed. It's like, oh, those rebels.
Scooby-Doo villain. My number 2 is narration. maybe like a Mon Mothma narrating the opening of the movie, like a long time ago, there was ships, something like that. I don't know.
Cool.
I just think it's another way of, instead of a crawl, you establish it
narration,
like a Lord of the Rings, where instead of the elf, it's Mon Mothma. That's what I think. My number one is we start on mist. It's all misty, and then a foot walks into a puddle and runs away, and it's Jyn Erso as a little kid. That's my number one way to start it, I think. This is based on having no idea what this movie is really about.
Really.
Like, these are shots in the dark.
I want to go something with Vader, but I don't because I didn't think of it earlier. So then it shouldn't be like. Yeah, I agree with you. It should maybe be something about Vader right off the top. I don't know.
Just go Vader.
No, I don't want to do that. Maybe it's something like
a crawl.
It's like old Akbar telling them.
It's old
like
Akbar.
after he's retired and he's wearing the brown coat instead of the white coat.
It's old Akbar and old.
Oh, children. What do you think Mon Calamari kids are called? Are they like shrimp or like plankton or something like that? Plankton! Come here to the time about how we blew up a globe.
Have you seen? There's a comic strip online of Akbar and I think Mon Mothma. It's something about getting coffee. And he goes, I sent Boffins to get me coffee.
Oh, yeah.
They're dead. All dead. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. That one. So that's our top 5.
Top 5.
So if you're watching Rogue One and you see it starts off in the mist, remember my name.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see how wrong we are.
Well, we're going to be totally wrong because we don't even know.
No,
we know nothing
idea.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're like, how does... I think we'd have a better shot last year guessing the opening of Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Well, I did guess the Force Awakens opening last year. I told Rob the day before.
Yeah.
But I think we would have a way better shot guessing that than we would this one, because this one, if there's no crawl, then that's why I don't think you start in space, because they're like, well, how do we get from here to there? I think that's their issue with the crawl.
Yeah.
And even though obviously it was tilt.
Side Akbar, I'm going to say it starts with a pizza party.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally thought that.
And they're like, there's peppers on this. Let's blow up a planet. Boom. Death Star.
I like that. Okay, one more thing before we leave.
Yeah.
They're saying that Kyber crystals are what they need on Jedha. Do you believe that, yes or no? To power the Death Star.
I kind of like it. I like the fact that a Sith weapon is powered by a lightsaber jewel. I want to say yes. I think it's dumb because I always feel like kyber crystals aren't like, it's not like coal where it's just a mound of it. I feel like kyber crystals, we've seen it, like they go on a search and they're all over the place.
And now with the Ahsoka book, they say that Sith cannot get their own kyber crystals.
Yeah.
So because you had like a nobody get their own, like.
And the laser's green, James. It's supposed to be red. If it's a Sith thing.
No, because.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it would be red. I don't know. But they wouldn't kill a Jedi to get it, so how do they even
But
get
I
it?
love the idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
I love the idea.
It's a better idea before the Ahsoka book. There.
You know what would be awesome if it turned out the laser was a Jedi strapped and he's holding his lightsaber like this all the time. He's like, kill me.
It's Kit Fisto.
It's Kit Fisto.
That's awesome. All right, that's our show, our 15th show.
Wow.
We are in the second or third week of November here.
Yeah.
Rogue One is probably just over a month away to Rogue One.
I think next episode will be exactly a month away.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. There's 79 days to go, I think is the...
Till when?
That does not make sense. 79 days to go to Rogue One.
There's 30 days. Or like less than 40.
Yeah, that's... My math is off. I saw something that said 80 days. I don't think that was today. I think that was a month ago.
That was Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Brock, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram at BFSmink and on Twitter at BFSmink and Snapchat. I think I'm just Brock Smink. I might be at BFSmink. I like to throw it around, you guys. I branded myself at BFSmink. Those are my initials. Yeah, that's it.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Petsafina and PS4 at Petsafina and join our Facebook group. If you go to facebook.com/rebelscumpodcast, we're there.
Yeah.
And watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/rebelscumpodcast. We got some stuff up there and more to come, more fun stuff.
Yeah, we're blowing it up, you guys.
Eventually we'll get a budget in about 20 years and we'll put together some real stuff. But
yeah,
it's fun. Subscribe on that. Like the videos, start a conversation, and let's keep scumming it up. Scumbags.
Send us an email at
rebelscumbags@gmail.com.
And, record some audio. Ask us, and we'll play it on here. And it's like you're on the show.
He's not joking.
We have the capacity to figure it out as we're doing the show.
It's a trap.
Oh, it's a trap. Anyways, thank you for listening. And James, may the force be with you.
Always.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.